So we're 1 week away from Rolling Thunder. That's right, the next Freedom Convoy. In other words, the motorcyclists will be coming here in 1 week to Ottawa. And I gotta say, I've got mixed emotions from the last couple weeks, not to do with Rolling Thunder, but to do with everything that's been going on about the news cycle itself, into my mind, disrupting my peace, concerned about the future for my children, concerned about my own future, about living in Canada and what that's going to entail in terms of rights restrictions, the Canadian Bill of Rights, which is being reduced to a bill of toilet paper. The charter, of course, people talk about how that has also been turned into toilet paper. Of course, there's a notwithstanding clause at the top there, so not everything is, let's just say it's pretty weak, right? And we've seen that be used. At least we've seen some clips of people saying, hey, you know what? The notwithstanding clause applies, so this is extreme circumstances, so we're not going to respect your rights. And when I say some people, we've seen the police basically just not respect our rights as citizens. I got to say, to be perfectly honest, I've been thinking and analyzing and looking, and it's chaotic. The times are chaotic. They're so chaotic. You don't know which way to turn, what to do. Should I stay in Canada? Should I go? Can I go? How can I even go? Flights, plane, boats, airplane, choo-choo train, right? You know, you don't even know what you can do or what you can't do, but at the same time, I'm just not willing to throw in the towel. I'm not willing to give up. And that's what I love about something like the Rolling Thunder. It shows me the Canadian people are not willing to give up. I've been watching all kinds of different podcasts and things, and listening and thinking, and even in the shower, I got the portable radio on, and I'm listening, and I'm listening to these podcasts. And there's a guy, Doug Casey, was talking about something I had mentioned before, the peasants' revolt, and giving those analogies, comparing, contrasting the Freedom Convoy to the Peasants' Revolt of 1381, which independently I had also thought about and then put a video together here on the War Campaign channel. But it was very interesting what he was talking about there. And he mentioned, look, these revolts, they never typically turned out well for the people. Okay, they didn't actually overthrow things. And if they did, like the French Revolution in 1789, that didn't actually end up being better for the people, right? You end up replacing one set of tyrants for another set of tyrants. And I think that's how these things go. Now, having said that, I don't know what the answer is, okay? I know one thing for sure. I'm not giving up my rights. I'm not giving up my freedoms. And I'm going to represent, and I'm going to be that person for my children, for my family. I'm going to stand up, and I'm going to show up, and I'm going to say no to every single thing that they try to tell me that I got to do. I'm not going to do any one of those things. And I think that's what we got to do now. We got to say no to every one of them. And they say, okay, I mean, you see Pat King is still in jail. He's had more charges thrown at him. And I was telling my wife, I got really worked up, and I'm talking to her, drinking my coffee, right? It's Sunday today, and I'm just thinking, and I'm worked up. My kids are at the park playing. My other little newest kid, he's sleeping in his crib, and I'm looking at him, and I got my beautiful dog, who I can never leave. Right, that's the biggest thing. I don't think I can even take a plane and leave Canada because I can't leave my dog, because it's like anything else, right? It's a life that you look after. You know, I'm an animal person. I'm a people person. I feel too much of a bond. And I know I'm just going off in all kinds of directions here, but I really believe this is what it's going to take. It's going to take like thinking, you know what I mean, and meditation, prayer, whatever you want to call it, right? And then just sleeping on it and coming up with your own ideas and what you're going to do when push comes to shove. And I know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to the Gulag Archipelago. You know, I'm not going to the Gulag, man, with Alexander Solzhenitsyn. I remember I read his book when I was in grade 9 or something like that, right? And then I was going through the other night, the Gulag Archipelago, just going through this right on my phone there. I got the online version, and I'm going through and I'm reading this. I'm not going to the Gulag. I'm not going to Shanghai, China. You know, and I refuse to I saw some other people. I saw this other fellow. What was his name now? He calls himself Baby something or other. He's talking about, gold and finances and everything else. Good dude. right? But he's talking about what to do when your neighbors come and they didn't prepare the way you prepared. And he's like, well, I'm going to turn them away. You should turn them away too. What to do when there's not enough to go around. And I think that I'm not doing that. I can't. I just can't do that. I think it's wrong. I think you got to be more. You got to be more than human. You got to be more than an animal. You got to be more. I know this sounds crazy. Got to bring ourselves to be more. Okay, maybe this is it's God, right? You got to be more than human. You got to be more. This is the thing. This is not only a war in terms of restrictions against us, but it's a spirituality war. It's a war against our souls. And I refuse to be turned into something slithering on the ground, only worried about my next meal. I got a lot of respect and admiration for the truckers that came down in February. That was incredible. It was one of the top tier experiences of my adult life. And I love what the motorcyclists are doing here too, right? With this Rolling Thunder Convoy coming up to the 29th next weekend. I'm going to be there. I'm going to film some of this, live stream this. I'm going to call Pan up and I'm going to say, Pan, we're riding again. Let's do this, brother. Let's get out there. I'm going to do my darndest not to get arrested, because I got to put food on the table for my wife and my kids. But I just can't acquiesce. I can't give in. I can't give up to the demands that are put upon me by these politicians who have no right whatsoever to go against my God-given rights for freedom. My maternal grandfather, he was an Indian. He was in the Indian Army, and he had orchards just by Afghanistan, right? So this is an undivided India. And, he fought for his freedom. That's what he wanted. And then when partition happened, his family went down to Delhi, and that's where my mother was with, her sisters. And then they all got split up. They all got sent to different homes across India, finally made their way to England. My paternal grandfather, totally illiterate, forced his children to study, to learn, to read, and to educate themselves. And to go to university. They got degrees. I mean, imagine a man who couldn't read, and his sons have master's degrees in engineering. And that was, and there was a lot of force involved in making them do their studies. They didn't want to necessarily do what they had to do, but they had to learn to do it. And now, just that same spirit is a spirit I think that I'm going to need to fight for my freedom, for our freedom, for this country that I consider to be a part of. I told my children the other day, they said, Dad, are we Indian? I said, you're Canadian. You ever been to India? I said, you've never been to India. I said, nobody can take that away from you, right? You are Canadian. You are 100% Canadian. That's what you're born here. This is your country. This is your land. You're born here. You're indigenous here. That's what you are. You're indigenous to this land. You are born of this land. You are part of this land. Never forget that. No one can take that from you. You're Canadian. You're 100% Canadian. You're born here. Were you born here? Yes, I was born here. Yes, then you're Canadian. That's what you are. You're of this land. So we're going to have to fight. And it may come to all kinds of things. We might have food shortages. We may have, natural gas might go up 10 times. Might be burning logs, cordwood. I got cordwood. We might be burning more cordwood in my fireplace to stay warm. I don't know what's coming next. I know I'm not buying junk, that's for sure. I'm stacking metal. I'm stacking as much metal as I can, precious metals, and burying it. Don't bother coming to my house because I'm burying it not in my house, way, way far from my house. So yeah, if you waterboard me, you get the coordinates, but that's the only way. And even then, I think I'm gonna do like Braveheart, and scream freedom. I said, hail, brethren. I said, hail freedom and hail the rolling thunder. I can't wait to see this week coming up. A big hail to everybody out there. Remember, honor, accountability, integrity, loyalty. We are all Canadian. We are all Canadian now. Hail, brethren.